Good morning and welcome to It's a Secret Not on the 6 o'clock news conference here in Tempe, Arizona. It's Sunday morning, November 18th, 2007, and we're continuing with our morning program. The second speaker of our morning program now, I'm Dr. Chet Snow, and I'm your host for this weekend, and I thank all of you for coming. It's wonderful to see the auditorium so well filled with the people that are interested in this information and have been called to be here with us during this time. It's my privilege to have this morning as our special speaker Fred Rusher, who is from Sedona, Arizona, a neighbor of ours, who's been a long-time student of the work of J.J. Hurtak, the author of The Keys of Enoch and other materials. Fred's also a very accomplished wood carver, and he got quite fascinated with the crop circle phenomenon because of the geometric shapes that could be carved into wood. And that's where he really got into that phenomenon. He's going to talk to us this morning about some things you wanted to know about sacred geometry and crop circles, but were afraid to ask. Fred Rusher.
Thank you, Dr. Snow, for allowing me to have this opportunity to talk to all of you. This is really going to be a great experience, because I first started getting into the crop circles really about 10 years ago. I went to England in '95 and went to the crop circles and things, but the wood part of it didn't come about until about 5 years ago, and I started carving some of them with a scroll saw and drawing them in my computer. And then finally about 3 years ago, along with my studies of the Keys of Enoch book, some of these crop circles and things started seeming to be a little different here. This crop circle appeared in 2003 or 4 at Etchelhampton Hill in England, and I found it to be very interesting, and I had drawn it up and I had cut it into wood. And as I was cutting some of these things into wood, eventually I'm so focused, and you know the movie The Secret. First of all, you got to put yourself in the passion that you want to do. So my passion was sacred geometry and the knowledge behind it. Second thing is you have to ask for the information to be given to you and let them bring it to you any way they want to bring it to you. Then the third thing is the most important, that is putting yourself in the vibration of that passion and just staying there so that you receive the information. The third part of the secret movie, is the most important and the most difficult part. But I immersed myself 24 hours into the sacred geometry, into the crop circles. And finally, I started hearing things. And at first, I thought it was the fact that my cat was talking to me. You know, because he'd come out in my workshop and talk to me. But finally, this crop circle here finally talked to me and said, multiply, multiply. It wasn't the cat, it was the crop circle. And so this turns out to be a 7-pointed star in the middle, an 11-pointed star out here, and a 13-pointed star in the outside. And 7 times 13 is 91, and 11 times 91 turns out to be 1,001. So this turns out to be the crop circle of the Arabian Nights. 1,001 stories can be told by using this as a clock. If you use this as a clock with a stone here, and a stone there, and move the pointer, move the pointer, move the pointer, you would have to count to 1,001 before you got all the way back to the start of this clock. So this was a clock. So it was pretty interesting that this started happening. The next crop circle that I found information on, it seemed, was this one here on Melk Hill. And most people thought this was a bee or a fish or something. And the information that I got was the fact that this was an angel spaceship. These are the wings, this is the body, and this is the Earth. This was a Galactic Federation angel spaceship taking the Earth to a new dimension. So that was a whole different outlook onto that crop circle. And here it is in wood, and I could see it much better that it was an angel with wings. This one here appeared in Nurstead in England, and it was very strange because it had like the flower of life, the seed of life in the center here. See the 6 petals? So it found that what happened in drawing this was that to get the outside part that kind of looked like ribbons, you had to rotate the seed of life 30 degrees. So now you got 12 points on the center circle instead of 6. And in doing so, it creates squares. There's 6 of them. Well, the 6 squares happen to make up the cube. It's where we are. We're in the 3rd dimension. We're in the cube. Except for Mason Rumney, he lives in a dome. So this cube is the 6 squares in this crop circle. This one here now started getting me a little deeper. This was in Kitts County in 2003. And the center again, the seed of life, or again the Merkaba, the 6-pointed star. But this shape that was around here like a spider web turns out to be like an elliptic shape. And I read my Yod-Hey Wod-Hey Keys of Enoch book about every day here and there. And they had me go to a passage there and showed me that this crop circle was actually in the Keys of Enoch, and this was written 30 years before this crop circle appeared. The multiple tablets of energy pulsate and create effulgent myriads of tessellations which are elliptic in shape, The elliptic functions are modular and can be fitted into the walls of the treasury of light, the center of this, to serve as a memory source for consciousness layers. So this is a picture of your consciousness and how you pack your memory around you. It was just amazing how this stuff was finally coming to me. I mean, this is a picture of how you pack your memory around you with effulgent myriads of tessellations. This crop circle here, Tan Hill, I was cutting it out, and I noticed that there were funnels. You notice how this shape here goes down to being a funnel? There's actually 9 funnels. You might call it from the Council of 9. 9 funnels coming in. And in the Keys of Enoch again, I found this phrase in this sentence. When the universe is updated, light is funneled into the particle blocks on each layer of consciousness through a superhologram-like process, which scans for locations to be used for depositing information. So this is how the Council of 9, you might say, is depositing information through funnels of light here on us on the earth. And there's another picture of it. This crop circle was in Thornborough Hedge in England. And in the Keys, I found it to be a crystalline structure. 36 like rainbows or crystals align with the body to free it from the karmic bondage. This allows the body to break the no-gun shells. So each one of these spaces is like what J.J. Hurtak would call a no-gun shell of memory, which hold the pathways of the soul in a singular pathway of simplistic faith. This one appeared in Takedown in England, and it seemed to be a little more complicated, but I found that these circles around the outside had a common center when you drew them. This circle, and then this circle, and this circle. So it was giving us the concentric circles. And in the Keys book, I was shown how other intelligences reserve planetary zones which have no radiation belts to create a more perfect metallurgy, which they use to span galactic and universal distances through the use of concentric atoms. We can't even picture concentric atoms in our universe right here, because as soon as you put 2 hydrogen atoms together, you get helium. So this must be a whole nother ball game of many different worlds or something else where they're able to use concentric atoms and still not get into the next level of atomic energy.